Hello, can y'all hear me? Hello.
All right, I'm gonna take a take two. Can you guys hear me?
There you are.
Okay. I was like having a whole conversation. I'm hoping everybody. Oh my goodness. So we are live. All right. So we're gonna go with all right, all right, all right, in the place of Miss Alexis. Really quick, I just want to say congrats to Alexis. She's actually at a show right now doing her thing. If y'all didn't know, Queen Alexis has a voice and she knows how to sing. So cheers to her. Go on, get on, go on with your best self, girl. So sorry about the technical difficulties. It's the first time of Miss Mavis doing her thing on this show, and whew, sorry, live and you learn. But anyways, without further ado, let me introduce you to who, Mr. Devontae. Talk to the people.
Yo, what's up,
Yo,
everybody?
what's
How
up,
y'all feeling?
everybody? How y'all feeling?
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get on with our talk about Mr. Bill Cosby. The one and only from the Cosby Show, Mr. Puddin' Pop himself. So let's hear what we gotta say. Well, you know what? Before we do that, you know what? I apologize. I went out of order. Let's talk about the news today. What is going on, Devontae? You usually bring in the news, so let us know what's going on.
The world going to hell in the handbasket. All right, I'm just gonna say it like this: motherfuckers is blowing up Israel. Biden's still trying to push this whole like critical race thing. Um, I mean, everything's going wild out here. Motherfuckers getting shot. Like you, man, birds is getting shot down. They shoot pigeons out the air. Everybody getting killed between the president, Corona, and gun violence in Chicago. Everybody died, but you, except for you, because you got Vicks Vapor Rub. You just go rub it on the bullet, right? Yo,
Big vapor rub goes on everything. Like, look, seriously, if you're feeling sick, put that stuff on the bottom of your feet, sleep with some socks on, give it about a couple of days, take your emergency, your vitamin C, and your zinc, and you will be good. I
for
promise you.
real. Yo, so I got a beef with everybody that is against I'm not pronouncing her name right. Old girl that's running for the United States, just going for the Olympics, and how they treating her on this little bogus weed charge. Shakari,
For,
that's her name. Like I know I wasn't pronouncing it right. Like,
I'm sorry, but Michael Phelps was doing some weed too, but that was after his Olympic meet. Why? Because
well,
he's white?
look, all I'm gonna say, even though the dude did get suspended, here's my problem with that. The Olympics is all about the human form. It's always been about the peak of human performance, and as long as there are no um, enhancement drugs, right? Like I don't know if weed is really an enhancement. Weed slow you down. You a runner. Your job is to go fast. If anything, it seemed like that'll make her it's counterproductive. So I don't understand why they tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, but whatever the case is, they gonna let her run though. So that's all that matters. You know.
Let her do her thing. She won fair and square. I mean, really, is weed really going to bring you down? It's not like she's doing steroids. I'm sorry. You have a lot of these heavyweight lifters who are pumping steroids into them, and just to try to win heavyweight lifting, but then you have regular people smoking a little weed. Like, come on, that's not really doing her body any good. I mean, it's
And just the fact, like, regardless of what. Like, I feel like a little bit of weed is normal. I feel like, and I could be wrong, y'all. I feel like weed is natural. It's from the earth. I don't see a problem with it. I've always been pro marijuana. So, yeah. Let me get a thumbs up in the chat if y'all are pro marijuana.
If we're pro what? Sorry.
Pro weed. I am pro green.
I mean, look, I'm not against it for sure. Like, not against it. Do your thing, because like I know it helps with like you already know my story, Mister. You know who, as far as it comes to, you already.
I can't hear you. I don't know why you're disappearing. But in other news, I got my little play daughter here. She talking crazy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Man, we waiting on Ashley. I don't know what she on. She on.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
What was the problem?
Miss Popular over here. But you guys can't hear me, right? Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine.
See, it's through my phone now, not through my Bluetooth. So sorry. There's gonna be a lot of background noise. I apologize. I'm at my brother's house. So, but anyways, you already know cancer is near and dear to me. So a lot of people use it to their own good to take away a lot of that pain. A lot of people suffer from anxiety. A lot of I support my army vets, my military vets. That's a huge thing for me. They use it for PTSD. Like, I'm not against it. Do what you got to do. You know what? Like I said, as far as Shikari goes, like, I don't see how it's really gonna go against her. If anything, like, it's going against her lungs, but she still won fair and square.
Yeah, I agree. And then, did you see Black Widow yet?
Javante, no, I have not. I'm so mad. I've already heard it's so good. So, me, you, and Queen all need to go out and go watch it.
I'm down. I don't know, man. Like, I watched
hear
it.
it's like an 8.5 out of a 10. Let's see what our fans say if anyone's commented on this.
I wasn't impressed at all. Like,
You
I'm not
watched
gonna
it
watch
already?
it. Yeah, I watched that. Look, I got the Disney Plus game. Fuck you mean? Like, yeah, I watched that shit.
I need you to hook a sister up with the Disney Plus game.
Man, I got you. All I'm saying is it wasn't. It was all right. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all should go see it. I definitely support the Marvel franchise, and I definitely support the Black Widow franchise. It was all right. It just, I felt like they could have did a little bit more to it. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I'm a diehard comic fan. You know what I'm saying? So I understand her strengths, and I didn't feel like they played up all of her strengths accurately. So I mean, that's just how I felt. But that ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Captain Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Look at Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's one opinion. You know what I'm saying? But still go see it because that shit is lit.
I hear it's still it's really good. I would definitely go and pay the money to go see that now that the theaters are open again. So thank you, Jesus, for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely go to pay to see that. And I hear that Cruella was really good. Queen Alexa said it was really good. So I can't wait for that to come up because I'm not trying to pay $30 on Disney Plus for that.
Man, look, it was worth it though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was definitely worth it. Like, straight up. I'm never gonna tell you not to watch this movie because it was legit.
I believe it. Well, do you want to add anything else into our entertainment? Do you have any other good, gushy stories for us? Who's pregnant by who? Any new baby daddies? Who's trying to take people to get their money? Like, have the baby by me, the baby millionaire. Hey.
Nah, man. You know what? Honestly, after coming out of this weekend that we had, and just the issues that have been going on as far as Chicago, you got people coming out, hanging out at a hotel with a whole sniper rifle, You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really in that place right now. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't even go. That motherfucker was straight up pointed, like he was aiming at Navy Pier. That's nuts to me. Like that nigga traveled here on some like, hey, I'm gonna just go shoot up a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? And he
He
just
was
happened
from
to get caught.
Iowa.
That
Iowa.
means that
Like
nigga
my
thought
age.
about that shit.
Like 32, 33. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what was your motive behind that?
That motherfucker hit I-80 and was like, gee, I'm finna kill a bunch of motherfuckers. Where is it a
I
bunch of motherfuckers? Chicago. Like, that's it.
crazy. And like
Straight up.
I'm so thankful that that person that was working at the W Hotel who actually reported it and didn't just like let it slide as something, suspicious.
But see, that's the thing. And like, you will hear me yelling that that's kind of, it's a double standard in the sense of, first of all, if this person was black, they would have never made it through all that type of shit to get all the way in the room with a whole rifle and all that shit. Like, that just wouldn't have happened. But at the same time, it's like, I'm glad that the maid was smart enough to be like, yo, this looked kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up with that? What up, cuz? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my cousin April out there. But yeah, that was interesting. On the movie subject, I just want to touch on that real quick. If y'all have seen No Sudden Move, watch that movie. It was bananas. Hey, Mama Dukes. Yeah, that movie was crazy with Don Cheadle. Yo, dope. Twists and turns the whole time. So that was the movie that I would definitely suggest you watch.
There's what is it? So they're coming out with a Sopranos movie. Did you hear about that?
Yo, I can't wait to see it. So I definitely heard about that.
So me and my dad, we had FaceTimed and he's told me about it. And he's like, "You're not a Sopranos fan, are you?" I said, "Are you fucking kidding me? How can you not be a fucking Sopranos fan? Am I a fucking clown to you?" No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like
But
everybody
anyway,
got Sopranos. You know what I'm
for
saying? Come on,
real, for
man.
real. So I was like, man, like those are the original gangsters. Like, sign me up. Let me watch this. So I saw the trailer. The trailer looks like it's about to be on point.
That shit finna be smacking. If you don't watch that, you ain't black.
You are goofy. All right. So, do we have anything else? Because we are about to move on to Mr. Bill Cosby, the classic father of the Cosby Show back in what, the 80s, 90s.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Mr. Puddin' Pop himself. Hey, baby.
Mr. Got Your Drink.
Oh, so let's go ahead and talk about this. So, Mr. Bill Cosby himself is out. He is out. He is out of jail. He did 3 years of time. I mean, all because of what prosecutors couldn't bring stuff to the table to be like, hey, this is what it is. So he's out. I have so much to say about this, but let's go on with you know who first and see what he's got to say because he's a little reckless sometimes. So
Well, if you want to hear reckless, you about to hear it. Because I feel like that motherfucker should have never been in there in the first place. For several reasons. Number one, no disrespect to the ladies that I don't know. But man, fuck them bitches. That's rule number one. Rule number two, he's a rich man. A rich man. Why were they even there in the first place with a rich, well-known married man doing, like, come on now. We see it in so many different celebrities where these people are actively seeking, men and women, to have sex, to get hit, to get cussed out, to anything they can to try to get some money and to make them to get their 5 minutes of fame, right? And the fact that the dude did all that and they was quiet for all them years was instantly suspect to me. Instantly suspect to me.
it kind of reminds me of the R. Kelly thing. Like, I'm sorry. Y'all kind of like, y'all had to know what you were going through, especially, the younger ones. I mean, why are you going to wait 10, 15, 20 years to say something? Like, if something happened, like, I understand me being a female, like if someone were to sexually assault me or rape me or whatever, like yes, I'd be embarrassed to come clean and say something because I can't believe this shit happened to me, right? But at the same time, you're gonna wait 20 some odd years. Like, why are you gonna wait? Are you waiting just so you could get a payday? Are you waiting just to, find quote unquote justice? I mean, a lot of people don't think about this shit right away. So like, oh well, if I say something now and if I got other people to back me up and say it, one of them is eventually gonna crack and say, oh no, this really didn't happen.
Well, check me out, man. I'ma say this, man, and this is my new slogan. I'm still with Bill because I still been with Bill since day one. It's been me and Felicia Rashad. Shout out to Auntie Miss Rashad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this. We as people, especially in this generation, have hardly habit of uh, idolizing people and forgetting that they're human. And I am not in any way saying that what may or may not have happened was justified. But what I am saying is that dude, he got a dick. He put his pants on one leg at a time, and it's a lot of ladies that he was an attractive man, he was a rich man, and he was an affluent man. So there is already a lot that would make any woman want him, right? But all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, the fact that Bill Cosby, the fact that it's like, I don't know how to say it. Like, even if he did those things, we know that Thomas Jefferson had illegitimate black children. We know that George Washington had slaves. Like, we know so many things about so many other people, and their legacies were preserved, untarnished. We still keep George Washington's in our pocket. And for this man to not being a perfect man, but having a legacy as powerful as he is, for us to just cancel him and just throw him to the wolves, I have a problem with that, especially with Black America. Especially with people of color in America.
No, and the thing behind all that too is the media does a horrible job at talking about stuff. Like right now, they could be watching us and they could be saying that Devontae has a black shirt on with a yellow hat, and that's gang related, and I'm wearing a black shirt and I have red hair and I'm crip related, like or blood related, whatever. I can't stand that the media takes it the extra mile. That's why I can never be a news anchor. That's why I can never work with a news station, because they take it to the next level just to have that news title, right? So that's the biggest thing that frustrates me the most. Plus the fact that these people are coming out 20, 30, 15 years later, whatever the case is. It's like, for what do you think you're going to get? He's 80 some years old. You want to see jail, you want to see him do jail time now? Like, what justice is that giving you? Are you quote unquote healed from what happened to you 15, 20, 30 years ago? I mean, let's be honest with each other.
And let's be okay. I'll give you a great example. There is a man by the name of Mr. John Burge. Mr. John Burge was the police chief, I believe, late 80s, mid to late 80s. It's known that he had secured at least 300 convictions, false convictions, right here in the state of Illinois. Right here. And our former mayor, Richard Daley, was prosecuting these people. He ain't give a fuck whether if that cop kicked him in the chest and got a signed confession, what Daley saw was a signed confession. And 20, 30 years later, it came out, right? But now here's the thing. Daley ain't in jail. John Burge ain't in jail. You know what I mean? And the argument behind it is that it's too old or they're too old for it to really make sense to follow up. So what I'm saying is there's a double standard, not just in the law, but in the court of public opinion when it comes to color. Why is it that for some reason when we see certain people do things, we allow 20 or 30 years to roll by and then we just kind of tap him on the wrist? This man is 80 years old. Whatever he did in the past was in the past. I'm sure between him and God and his accountant, they didn't work that shit out a long time ago. Let that man live and don't touch his legacy. That's my only issue, you know.
A lot of it is the money issue. The money ran out. You know, now they're broke. You know, COVID happened. They're broke. You know, even I mean, this I know this is pre-COVID, but you know they're broke. They don't have any money. So it's like, well, let me see how much more I can get out of him. You know, justice needs to be served. Justice needs to happen because he did this to me, and this is the Me Too movement. I'm not saying this is not real. Like there are real instances out here, but did Bill Cosby really do what he did? That you're saying, like, why are you coming out with this 15, 20, 30 years later? I think it's beyond ridiculous. If it happened, say it right then and there. Say it within, I think there needs to be a statute of limitation, right? Because there's a statute of limitation with everything else. There needs to be a statute of limitation. If you're not reporting it within the first 5 years, it's a no-go. Like, sorry, it never happened. Because let's be honest, the DCFS is the same thing. You know, after 5 years, if you're clean, they wipe your slate clean. I only know that because I lived that. I lived that as a kid. So here we're talking about somebody, you know, accusing, you know, raping or, you know, using women. But there needs to be some sort of, um, there needs to be some sort of time frame, like a cutoff, or to be like, look, after X amount of years, it's not even worth it. You can't do nothing about it.
Right. Well, and since we're talking about the law, ultimately what happened was there was a former DA that he initially spoke with that basically said like, all right, well, we're not gonna prosecute you, and you know, there's a civil case going on. We're not gonna prosecute you on the criminal side, and that was a deal that was cut with that DA, and then a new DA came, a new prosecutor came or whatever like that, and basically said, okay, well, fuck all that. We finna prosecute you anyway, and we're gonna use the testimony from the civil case and from the depositions of the civil case as criminal evidence. Now, the issue with that and why legally he should be free is because any motherfucker that deal with the law and the court system, the law is everything. The law is everything. And if people can entrap you, you have a case. You can fight that and win. And we need to be reminded of that because these motherfuckers are slick. They slick and they tricky and they will say shit and then double speak it and have you hemmed up. And Cosby was a great example of that. When the new prosecutor came in, he tried to basically ignore everything that was already established. And you can't. You know what I'm saying? That's your office. Whether you the new motherfucking town or not, you still got to operate within the parameters of your office. You know what I mean? And he didn't do that. And so even if the dude did it, which, you know, I don't necessarily agree with or whatever like that, but legally he's still supposed to be free. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell all you people out here that deal with the legal system, pay attention, read the documents. You know what I'm saying? Do your homework and talk to people that know how to do the homework with you. And you know what I mean? Because one or two words means the difference between freedom and imprisonment.
Amen to that. Like seriously, it's all about the wording. And I feel that the legal system doesn't always listen to both sides of the story. You have those certain judges, right? You have those certain attorneys like, oh yeah, I'll take care of you, blah blah blah. You know, my cut is 20%, and I'll make sure you get X, Y, and Z. But you don't get that. Like this is a lawsuit that will go on for years or decades or whatever. And I think it's ridiculous. And then you have the judges who, they're hearing both sides of the story. And, and again, we see it in everything. We've seen it in the George Floyd case, right? We see it with the jury system. We see it with everything. It's not necessarily fair, which it sucks because it's a new generation that's running the system. It's not like what it was back in the day. Like me and my brother were just talking about this. It's like that, like even in the military, you would have the old heads in the military still, and they're just like they're honoring their young ones and really looking out for them. And then you have the new generation who are like the new superiors, and they're like, no, you're gonna do this and you're gonna obey me and you're gonna do, because it's a power trip, right? And it's just like it was never like that 40, 50, 60 years ago. And I get that, sometimes change is a good thing, right? So don't get me wrong on that. Change is a good thing sometimes. But in other times like this, their eyes really need to be opened and look at all of the facts. Like, why is this something that happened 15, 20 years ago coming up now? And you really want to reprimand somebody who's 80 some odd years old? Like, really? Now, if he committed murder, that's a different story, right? Murder and, buried the body and everything, that's different. But I don't know. I mean, what justice are you going to get?
Here's my argument. My argument is real simple. Like I don't necessarily. I was not there. Only him, that woman, and God, or those women and God, were in the room present to know what really happened. My argument is number one. America has a very, very biased view when it comes to law enforcement with people of color, and that's just, I mean, that's indisputable at this point, right? Number two, we already have a very, very strong understanding that so many people have done so many things wrong over the history of just America. You know what I mean? That if we're going to harbor on one or two people and use them as the example, make it the right two people. Okay? Because this particular man was somebody that, put people generations through college. He made it cool for blacks and browns to go to college and graduate. And that's something that's very, very unique, as opposed to, a R. Kelly situation where he just like dance and sing, you know what I mean? Like there was no real progress made with R. Kelly. You know what I mean? Like, but when you compare apples to oranges, it's like, yo, how many people out here that we see? Che Guevara wasn't too fond of black people. Thomas Jefferson. You know what I mean? Like all of these people historically, that have a legacy that has outreached their lives, and nobody thinks about the negative context of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's my only concern. That and the fact that black people, I feel like black and brown people should have rolled with them, right or wrong. I'm not gonna lie to you. Straight up. Because the same way that a prosecutor can look straight face to the judge and say, maybe it was the carbon dioxide that killed George Floyd, not the clear officer standing on this nigga's chest, and say it with a straight face. I feel like black and brown America should have been like, yo, that nigga didn't do it. Nope. You know what I'm saying? And stood on it. You know what I mean? Because if we don't protect our own and and demonstrate solidarity, how do we really expect anything to change? And I'm not saying that he did or didn't do it. I'm just saying that from the integrity aspect of it, we got to be able to hold our own down. That's one of our heroes. Stand in front of that motherfucker. Catch that bullet. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie to you. That's just, my opinion.
No, I hear you. And again, it's all about standing together, right? Backing one another. And again, it's all about producing the facts. Like bring the facts I mean, let's think about it. Like, what facts are you going to have from 15, 20, 30 years ago? What facts are you going to have? Because text messages from 30 years ago, you ain't going to have that. You might have it on your pager, but show me your pager. Show me, I mean, let's think about, when did email come out? You know what I mean? It's like, bring your facts to the table. And it's like, if you have nothing, if you don't have a paper trail, I'm sorry, it didn't happen. Like, I'm sorry that you're building this up, and there's so many people in this world that hurt innocent people and make them look like the bad person. And it truly breaks my heart. It's like, you are truly ruining somebody's legacy right now just for you to get some money. I'm not saying he didn't do what he did.
It ain't even the money aspect. It's the sensationalization, and that does translate into revenue. But you got to think cases like that, they help to create careers for prosecutors, and they help to, thank you, Ms. Jackie. The pretty puppet said, Why would they go to a hotel of a known married man in the first place?" Thank you.
It's the petty puppet, not pretty, petty.
The petty puppet. You right, my bad. You know what I'm saying? But you feel me? Like, come on now. Everybody that said it, we know what it is.
You know he's married. You know he's married. You know he's old. You know you're young.
Look, he wasn't old when that shit was cracking. You know what I'm saying? Like, when that shit was really, really popping, he wasn't old back then. You know what I'm saying? He was like 35, 40, whatever like that. You know what I'm saying?
Still, how old were the females? They were, 16, 15, 21, whatever. Still.
Right.
Again, I'm trying to open up. It's basically like a whole R. Kelly case all over again, right? So we're trying to look at it from both sides. Like, how old were these females? If you're over 18, it's a fair game, but honor that ring. Are you not honoring that ring? Like, you want to be the homewrecker? Like, I can never be a homewrecker. Like, if you're married, baby, bye. I'm not trying to be. Nope.
I mean,
even
look,
if you're trying to give me money, no.
But that's you, and I respect you and appreciate you. But you got to understand, when we listen to hip hop, when we listen to R&B right now, eight out of 10 songs is talking about a nigga smashing another motherfucker's girlfriend or wife.
You're right.
This shit is real. Right. And all I'm saying is, groupies been around since celebrities been around. It's part of it. Everybody know that aspect of the game. So it's like, man, okay, don't let nothing follow you back to your home, and don't let nothing fuck up your money. Them the rules.
But there's always that one person who will. I mean, come on, look at all the NBA players. Look at all the NBA players who do stuff like that. Like, come on.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. And I will be honest in saying that, because of the internet, I mean, not that none of this stuff is new, but I would say, like, what we created right now and what we've been living in the past 15 years is a culture of tricking. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfucker, know you got it. I don't fuck if you married or not. Nigga, we know what this is tonight. We gonna have our fun. We're gonna do what we do. Buy a bitch a bag and some shoes, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And that was what was going on back in Pryor's days, Cosby days. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that shit is a part of living that type of life to me. So it's like, I'm not saying that bad things don't happen. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, like, you know what it is when you get out here with these people. You know what I'm saying? You're not finna be the one that get married. You're not finna be the one that's then gonna wake up and be like, oh, you the one? We finna have our fun tonight. I'm gonna give you a couple dollars and send your ass back to whatever town you come from. You know what I'm saying? So for a motherfucker to turn around and make it seem like a rape or nothing like that, it's extra shit. I feel like it's thirsty shit.
You're not lying. I mean, again, it's the home wreckers who don't think about it, right? They do what they want to do, and it's just, at the end of the day, it's wrong. To me, it's wrong.
But now, what's wrong with, like, for right now, what I see is a lot of people that are okay with being a home wrecker. Look at Alice, what's her name? Augustina, the entrapment nigga. Like, he don't give a fuck about being a home wrecker.
It's an entanglement, baby.
Entanglements is a real shit. That's a real thing, man. Like, everybody cool with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So before we go shooting at Mr. Bill Cosby, Dr. Bill Cosby, and make it seem like he invented this shit, no. Motherfuckers been tricking. We been getting high, getting drunk, and fucking. I'll see you in the next town. I ain't saying he did it. I'm not saying he didn't. What I'm saying is that shouldn't follow him. Arnold Schwarzenegger is proven that cheated on his wife, had whole nother kids with a motherfucking maid. That's infidelity to the fullest, blatantly in the crib. We're not gonna associate that maid with him and what he's done over the past 40 years when he dies. But there will always be an asterisk mark on Cosby. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. And that's a problem for me. Especially when we pray to the money god, and we know the money god got bodies, got slaves, got illegitimate children, trail of blood that runs from one ocean to the other. Let that motherfucker ride. You know what I'm saying? If Bill Cosby came out with a pair of sneakers right now, I'm buying them shits. Straight up.
You're not wrong. It's, but let's talk about this for a minute, right? So you mentioned some true legacies. Let's talk about MJ for a minute, right? MJ, like, fuck all you LeBron fans. Like, I'm sorry, the crybaby. Don't even get me started on Space Jam 2, because I'm already pissed off about that. Like, you ruined that movie for me putting the crybaby in that. But let's talk about MJ. I'm not condoning cheating or anything like that, but like y'all, not y'all, but like the media and everybody is so quick to put on blast of the people of color, right? But I'm sorry, but where are all the white people who cheated on their spouses?
I'm talking about all of them.
I'm sorry, where are they? Are they in the media?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Do we got any listeners here? Can y'all listen? Because
look, Drew Barrymore, who is alive and well today, she went on record in saying that she was being touched on by high-powered people in Hollywood that we will never know their names. We will never find out who it was. So if there's a layer of protection that goes on within their communities, and there's a layer of protection, not so much physical, but psychological protection that says this person may not be guilty. Let's ensure that they have the burden of proving that he is. When it comes to black and brown skin, we got to prove the opposite. We got to prove we didn't do it. And in the court of public opinion, we still have to prove we didn't do it. I don't know if Michael Jackson slept with monkeys or not, but I know I seen a monkey in the room. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, that's my brother. He ain't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm standing on it.
Nope, and you're absolutely right. People are so quick to judge on, and the media does a horrible job. Like, I've come to the realization of this, right? The media comes and does a horrible job at titling media articles. You know, instead of saying like the facts of it, they'll sit there and say, you know, Chicago is going under because of X, Y, and Z. So you have to really read the article, be like, okay, Chicago's really not going under. Mayor Lightfoot is doing X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? it's the horrible titling
That's what
for
I'm
me
saying.
that kills me. It's like, title your shit right instead of making people automatically jumping to conclusions. I mean, we can sit here and talk about, good old Kobe right now, but I'm not trying to talk about Kobe right now because there's too
God
much
bless him
drama.
dead. We ain't fucking with Cole.
Yeah, well,
But I will say this. To mention the double standard and really, because I've been talking about it, because I think that is the crux of my personal opinion when it comes to the Bill Cosby situation. It's all about double standard, and that is a color issue. Lori Lightfoot came into this city. Chicago been fucked up. Daley was good because Daley managed to make sure to sweep that shit under the rug. And he swept all that bullshit past Roosevelt and west of California. But that motherfucker was very racist. And he didn't say he wasn't. Clearly ain't from Chicago. That motherfucker was very racist. And everything he did was race-based. So my argument is this. We didn't say he was a terrible mayor and come to his house with pitchforks and torches and shit. And we should have. His father built a whole motherfucking expressway to keep the niggas of Bronzeville away from the whites of Bridgeport. You telling me that nobody came with torches and shit? Nobody tarnished his legacy. Fuck that. No. If Bill comes out, I'm gonna get a Bill t-shirt.
Make a t-shirt, Devontae.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a t-shirt. That motherfucker gonna say pop pills and chill with Bill. God damn it, let's get it. You know what I'm saying?
For real. I mean, like, and again, it's all about watching who are we going to talk about when it comes to legacies, right? I mean, even in TV shows nowadays, like even in like CPD, you see how involved the politics are, and it's just like, man, the truth behind that is freaking mind blowing, right? But it's in everything that you do. The media controls a lot of people. And so many people are like, oh my God, the media said X, Y, and Z. We need to stop. We need to wear a mask. You need to apply Vicks. You need to do this. You need to make sure you have hand sanitizer, right? You need to do this. You need to do that. Y'all, chillax, because nothing has changed in the last, century of washing your hands with soap and freaking water. Soap and water. That's all you got to do. Soap and freaking water. Don't rely on this 24/7. Soap and water, baby. Soap and water.
But that's the thing. The media, and here's the thing. This is something that is interesting that our predecessors understood very well. People like Dr. Martin Luther King understood very, very well. Shout out to Benny Bones. He say y'all not about to defend Michael Jackson. Y'all, while Michael Jackson was a hero, that motherfucker created the moonwalk. Well, he bought the moonwalk. He popularized it. All right, he made it popping. Nobody else could take one glove and make that shit crack. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, damn, I lost myself. What was talking about? Fucking with these comments. Oh my God, fucking with these comments.
I'm sorry, I couldn't let this slide. I couldn't let
Comment
this slide. Wait,
section,
hold
always
on.
crazy.
Real quick. Oh, hold on. Like, really, Benny? Well, hold on. Let's talk about Michael for a minute. Benny. I just want to say, like, Benny and the Jets. Like, I hope we don't get canceled because of this. But Benny.
I'm just saying, if Bill Cosby came out with anything, I support him. And all I'm saying is that I think that it's our responsibility to support our brothers and sisters, whether they're right or wrong in certain situations. Why? Because when we look at a family, a real family, even when your family do something fucked up, you still stick by them. You tell them in private, hey man, that shit was fucked up what you did. But
Especially if you're married, right? You and your wife, let's just say you and your wife, let's just say your wife is a white woman, right? You bring her to your family function and they start saying some racial shit like white people this, white people that, right? And you're just like, don't say anything, babe. Don't say anything. I
And
got
that's
you.
my
Don't say
wife.
anything,
Y'all gonna
right?
respect my wife.
Exactly. And that's how it should be. Like, y'all need to respect, like, hello, I need you to, I would do the same thing, like, hello, like, racist comments need to stop here. And then I'm gonna sit there and say, y'all want racism to stop? Y'all want racism to change? You are the issue. Hello.
And that's it. And that's it. But in terms of it internally within the black community, there has to be a level of accountability, but there also has to be a level of we got to stick together. And that's a cliche statement at this point, but Bill Cosby was a wonderful example of that. Meek Mill is a wonderful example of that. I mean, there's so many examples to where we could argue right or wrong. If the process is fucked up, the process is fucked up. And somebody like George Floyd doesn't have to have a perfect record. He can be fallible because he's a human. But the system has to change. And we have to stick by our brothers and sisters because we are hoping to get freedom for everybody. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So Mr. Benny is saying, I don't need to defend if I don't, so anything, don't, I'm assuming don't see anything wrong, like assault people or children.
Okay. All right, so then I'm not gonna say whatever. I don't know nothing about assaulting, children and all that other shit. Bill Cosby wasn't out there like that. I don't know. But what I will say is this. Again, that's a private conversation. That should remain a private conversation. And the same way that we have people that will protect Epstein, we have people that will protect a Kennedy. We have to protect brothers like Dave Chappelle that went up against the system. We have to. We got to have people that are willing to stand in front of that man. The same way back in the day, we used to have people that was willing to step in front of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We have to unite, in my opinion. Right or wrong, them particulars that really kind of don't matter in the big game. The big game is, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but the system will always find a way to shoot a hole in a nigga. They will always try to figure out how to put an asterisk on a person of color. If they can do it, they will exploit it.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you did. I mean, we can even bring it as little as child support, right? Or even child custody. Why is it that, I mean, this is a whole nother show we're going to have is, child support and child custody. I mean, you see it like they're already like judges and everybody's already favorable in regards to the mom, but like, is the mom even in the picture? Is the mom even fit to be a mom? Like,
that's what I'm saying. I will go. No, I will take it this far. We know Donald Trump paid what, like $700 in government taxes, and he the whole fucking president. We know that there are laws that protect Jeff Bezos. No, not him specifically, but those types of people. We know that motherfuckers cheat. We know that they lie.
All the time.
They finesse, but we create systems and we create things that protect them from the real world. Mm-hmm. And when people of color begin to band together and start developing those same protections to where you know that you are not allowed to just walk up and shoot a motherfucker. You're not allowed to just choke the shit out of somebody in broad daylight. That the law applies whether you a new prosecutor or an old one. We have to allow ourselves to be able to be vulnerable and protective of one another. And when the bandwagon went down and everybody was against Bill, I was saying, fuck y'all, because Bill left us a blueprint. That motherfucker had people going to college. He single-handedly made HBCUs crack for like 20 years. Niggas was buying sweaters. Motherfuckers was applying, trying to get in. He was funding niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. I'm a little tipsy because I've been drinking, but my heart is still the same. You feel me? Like, my heart is always going to be the same. I'm not going to let a few women or just people in general, men or women, it's not a women issue. I'm not against victims. Like, I'm not trying to blame victims here. What I'm saying is that long game history has a bunch of fucked up guys that have done fucked up things. And we forget that when we look at the big picture. And when it comes down to this particular situation, we're conditioned to ignore all of the great shit and focus on the one bad. And I ain't going for that shit. Fuck that. I ain't going.
No, and again, I stand with you and I hear you 110%. Again, and I don't know how many episodes I've said it, and I'm going to say it again and again and again until it actually happens. You already know what I'm going to say. Change needs to happen. Be the voice, be the change. Like, that is it. Like, I am so tired. So, and I hate to say that I'm tired, because I know y'all are tired. Y'all are tired about the racism, but I'm tired of seeing it and y'all being affected by it, right? I'm tired of seeing innocent people being attacked for nothing, for something they never did, but they were set up to be at the same location at the same time to be pinned for that incident. It is ridiculous. It needs to end. It needs to stop. Because people already know how messed up the system is, they're already going to choose people of color, be like, oh, you're going to be my next victim. You're going to be my wingman. We're going to do this. I'm going to pay you X, Y, and Z. Don't worry, I got your back. But the minute you're locked up, who are you? I don't got your back. I never said that. Saying it is one thing, having it in writing is another thing. Y'all, just watch your back. Like, change just needs to happen. Again, racism needs to end. And there's people on both spectrums that don't know how to end that, right? Because, people are going to say, well, I hate X, Y, and Z. And then other people are like, well, I hate X, Y, and Z. Well, what are we going to do to change that? Because you guys saying you hate X, Y, and Z, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You're the issue. Whether you want to look in the mirror and accept that you're the issue, like, stop. Like, we are not in the 1900s anymore. We're not in the 1800s. We are in the 21st century. Let's just stop.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all have our biases, and that's okay. I understand that, but when our policies, first of all, when our personal integrity, and I mean that as an individual, but also as a community, becomes affected, that's a problem. When our policies and our laws become affected, that's a problem. And those are issues that people choose to ignore. And I want to throw another thing out there. A lot of people that didn't support Bill Cosby were basically saying, like, even one of our commenters was saying, victim blaming, right? Well, that subject never comes up when we talk about how people basically said that Trayvon Martin was wrong for wearing a hoodie. That's victim blaming as fuck. We never acknowledge that some of these people were just standing outside selling loose cigarettes. That don't mean they gotta fucking die. But we love to victim blame. We love to do that. But the context, how hypocritical is that the context is, oh, well, in this case, you're victim blaming. But then, in other cases, it's more than okay to question the victim's integrity and their background.
And it all depends on the person itself. Just like you said, nurse is like, man, like if you have a person of color, like, oh, it's the victim, right? But then if you have a white person or any other race, it's like, okay, well, let's really, they can't do anything wrong. They can't do no wrong. I'm
Well,
sorry, what,
let's
honey?
think of
What?
how they were thinking in the moment. Let's look at their background and see if they had friends. I mean, a motherfucker shot up a whole church. It was like, well, he didn't have any friends, and nobody cared about him, and that's why. I mean,
But
that's
he had mental issues, so that's okay.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's insane when we
That's the
look at
difference
that.
between me and you. That's the difference between me and you, which I think is absolutely disgusting. I can sit here and say I have the mental issue card, right? I'm depressed. I'm this. I'm that. I have all these issues. But the minute you play that card, it doesn't work for you. Why?
Doesn't
Why?
matter.
Why does that? Why does that not work?
Not even a factor.
I know, and it's again, it's so freaking sad, and people don't know how to open their eyes and actually see that this is an actual true issue. This is what's wrong with America today, and it really pisses me off. And I'm just like, you already know my heart. You and Queen already know my heart, what I stand for, and it hurts me so much.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. We can heal from it as a country, as individual communities. I think we can heal from it. But I think the first thing we got to do is acknowledge and not gaslight genuine issues. Let's not pretend that Bill Cosby, right or wrong, I'll even take the side of wrong. I will take the position of saying maybe he did do it. But again, we never target a legacy of people that have done great things and ignore that based on shortcomings in their private lives. It didn't happen for Schwarzenegger. It didn't happen for, arguably Trump. It didn't happen for Biden. It didn't. He's a sitting president. We know that motherfucker was against the desegregation of schools. He's a sitting president. So when we talk about legacy, my argument is double standard. And Bill Cosby is a wonderful example of the double standard that persists in America. Whether he did it or not, there is a presumption of his guilt and an erasure of all of the wonderful qualities that came out of his work. And there was nobody to protect him. Nobody stood up in front of that man and took that bullet. It was like, nah, he ain't do it. And even he did what I'm riding with him.
But nobody really did that with R. Kelly either.
That's a
And even
different case, though.
Right? No,
I'm
I
saying
know.
R. Kelly, like,
I hear you.
that nigga ain't had no fucking. There was no spike in college education when that nigga was hot. Like, come on now. And all things like, and I'm all things being equal, R. Kelly's a different situation. Kells wasn't telling bitches to go out here and get an education. He was telling them to twerk. That's so vastly the legacy behind Kells and Cosby. Come on now.
Cosby, you're right. Cosby does have a lot for him, but again, they are two great people, right? You have an actor, and then you have the music behind it, right? So both great legacies. One got truly diminished because people were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe we did this." I'm just stop listening to his music. I didn't stop listening to his music because I have my reasons as to why I feel that he's not necessarily guilty for it, but
ain't that some ironic shit? Check me out. R. Kelly has a better chance of pulling money out this situation and living a life than Cosby do. Many motherfuckers Cosby put through college, motherfuckers will listen to R. Kelly songs and not think twice, but we want to banish Uncle Bill. Right. Now how crazy y'all sound.
Because they got tired of hearing about pudding pop.
Look,
I'm
stay
just
away
kidding.
from the Jello cups, and you be all
I'm
right.
just
You be all
kidding.
right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love me some Bill Cosby. Like, I will continue to watch the Cosby Show and watch his stand up. Like, y'all put the man back on air. Put the man on back on air because y'all didn't take R. Kelly off of Spotify. Bring Mr. Cosby back. Please bring Mr. Cosby back. Just saying. Bring him back. Bring him back. The man needs some money. Bring him back. But we're gonna go and wrap this up here. I just want to say next week, please tune in to next week. Next week, we are about to have a guest on our show. He is a pretty cool guy. I've been following him on TikTok for a hot minute. Under his numerous accounts, only because he's been, taken off and canceled by trolls for what he stands for, and he stands for the realism. You have pedophiles, you have criminals on here on TikTok and, Facebook and everything like that. And they should not be on social media like that. So he stands up for what is right, what is wrong. And we're about to have him on here. So next Saturday is going to be a dope show. Please tune in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to all of our accounts. We are on Facebook under the Mad Hatters podcast, or the Mad Hatters. On Instagram, we're under the Mad Hatters Podcast 530, along with YouTube, the Mad Hatters Podcast 530. And for those of you guys who don't want to watch the video and just want to hear our amazing voices, we are on iHeartRadio and Spotify under the Mad Hatters Podcast 530. So when you do have that long ride to work, throw on your iHeartRadio and your Spotify under the Mad Hatters Podcast 530 and listen to our wonderful voices and hear what we have to say, because it's never a lie. We always have some shit to say, and we're always going to make you laugh, even when you're having a shitty day when you first wake up. But don't be shitty. Don't have a shitty day when you wake up. Make sure you smile and thank the Lord that you have another day to see and seize the day. I'm practicing for my my announcements in the future. No, I'm just kidding. But I have to, help Queen out because Queen's not here, and it's definitely not the same with Queen not being here. Like, I'm like, man, like, I feel like an empty nester. I'm like, where's Queen at?
I know, right?
It's so different.
I mean, it is what it is. She's off doing her thing, and as the community grows and as our thing grows, there's gonna be more jobs.
Amen.
We just keep it moving. You know what I'm
Amen to
saying?
that.
But I don't know. I had a great time as always.
It's
I like
always
to
a good
talk to
time.
you.
We got some Ebony and Ivory up in here. Ebony and Ivory.
Right. And yeah, I mean, whoever hears the show, watches the show, whatever like that, like, throw them comments. Don't be afraid to comment. Don't be afraid to disagree. Don't be afraid to, just say your opinion. State whatever your opinion is. We love to hear this kind of stuff because it helps us to grow and it helps everybody that's involved, be it people that are in the show or people that are just viewers. It helps us to grow. So
Absolutely.
say what you got to say. Throw them comments, throw them likes and shares, man.
Even the trolls, go ahead and still subscribe to us and comment away. We'll be glad to share your comments if they're really appropriate, because we're not trying to get canceled. So we love you guys. Thank you guys so much for following us, tuning in. Please mark your calendar, set your alarm, and tune into next week, because next week is going to be dope as hell. Devontae, do you have anything else to say?
I just want to say, be safe, everybody. I love y'all. And that's about it.
Definitely be safe and tune in next week. And we will have Miss Queen Alexis back with us. So have fun, be safe, and don't do anything we would do, which is not much. Because, how can you say no to this face? We are out. Peace out. We love you guys. Thank you for your support.